Guys, how's it going today? So I realize I've done a lot of bitching about this game, a lot of complaining, but I haven't offered, well, I have offered solutions, but I thought I'd demonstrate a solution. Now, I've said before that I don't like the variation system. I'm against variations completely, but you know, they're here, so we just have to deal with them. However, if I had it my way, I want to propose how I would design a character. So the character I know best in this game is Noob Saibot. So this is obviously, this isn't gonna happen in Mortal Kombat 11. So this is just me spitballing. Maybe it happens for Mortal Kombat 12, who knows. My vision for Mortal Kombat is no more variations, just very full characters, like they have their entire moveset. And the point of this video is to show an archetype. Now, I've complained about archetypes in Mortal Kombat for a very long time now. I feel like NRS doesn't understand what an archetype is because they sort of give characters everything. So I wanted to sort of demonstrate to you using Noob Saibot and using a bit of an older moveset as well, to really show you what I mean by archetype. This is a custom loadout that I've got on right now. But I'm going to show you the moves that I would keep in it, and then show you some other moves from another character from a previous game that I would give to Noob Saibot, and then the moves I would also remove. So first of all, with my archetype, I would remove his teleport. And you might be thinking, why in God's name would you remove his teleport? I'll tell you why in a bit. I would also remove this fireball. Those are the two moves that I would remove from this custom loadout, because that's the one that I've got on right now. These would be gone. Now what I would keep is his up clone, his forward clone, and his load clone. Those are the moves I would keep. Now, why do you think I would keep those moves? Well, I've said before that I think the design of Noob Saibot is half good. I feel like it's half done. It's a half-baked attempt at a character. But the half that is good is really good. Now, what I would do is I would take from a previous moveset, and that previous moveset comes from Scorpion and MKX. Scorpion used clones in MKX. He had a clone that would hit you in the back, from the ground, on top, and I think that it was a really cool design. It's actually my favorite design of a Mortal Kombat character that I've personally ever seen. Now, the reason that I got rid of this fireball is because he already has a running man. Now, yes, it's slow, but if we're going with the clone archetype, he has an anti-air and he has a low that hits at pretty decent range. Now, if we took Scorpion's back clone, so he had a clone that would run and hit you from the back, it kind of makes this pointless, because the point of this character now becomes for him to keep you out. He wants you to stay away, and he's going to be played at a mid-range, so it's sort of like this range. This is where he kind of wants to play the game, and he wants to keep you there. Scorpion also had a clone that would grab you from the bottom, but I wouldn't take that because he already has this, and we don't want it to be overkill. One of the problems with NRS games is that some characters are just overkill and they have too much going on. So we would keep this. He has his anti-air, and he has his running man. They all do good damage. So what I add to him is the running man from the back. So Scorpion had a clone that would hit you from the back. You give that to him. You also give to him the clone that Scorpion had where it would hit you overhead. Now you have a full range of clones. Noob Saibot now becomes a clone character. But what else do we do to him to make him fair? Well, the clones do a fair amount of damage. So if you look here, that does almost 10% damage. And if I amplify it, that does 14%. So the clones do good damage. The low slides does 9%. If I amplify it, it does 16% good damage. 8% from the up clone, and obviously an 8% anti-air, that's pretty good. And then you could say that the back clone, you know, you wouldn't give an amplify because it's already coming from the back. It's okay, you won't get crossed up because with NRS you block with one button, you don't block with back or forward. So you wouldn't give that an amplify. You give it 8% damage because it comes from the back. You give it decent recovery as well. So what you do is you make it so Noob Saibot is not plus after using it. He's actually minus. It's not his turn after using it. So if he was to use it up close, the person can punish him because the purpose of the move is for it to not be used up close. And another problem with NRS games is that some things are not punishable when they should be, and some things are too plus on block or not minus enough. With a move like that that grants you 8% and it hits you in the back and it's sort of controlling space, you would make it so that it isn't amplifiable, so there's no combo extensions off it, and Noob Saibot's turn is over after that. Now if you're playing at mid-screen from here, it's still going to be his turn most likely with most characters. So there's no need to make it super plus because you don't want it to become a spam fest. The point of this is to make Noob Saibot a clone character, make him very specific. You have to control his clones in the right way to get the opponent to not get in on you. You want to keep them out, you want to keep them at this range. You don't want them to go beyond this, because when they get beyond this, that's when Noob Saibot will falter. Now currently in Mortal Kombat 11, Noob Saibot does very high combo damage, and it's for really minimal effort. Now there's no reason why a character that has already got high damage with clones and his purpose is to keep you at mid to long range has high combo damage as well. So this is what you do. His teleport's already been removed in the variation that I'm talking about now, or the moveset I'm talking about. So simply, he would have that. That puts you at a position where Noob Saibot wants to be. You've got a decent amount of damage, it's not high, but it's not too low. And the character becomes more focused. It's not about I can play here and I can play there. You play them where they're supposed to be played and you really refine that sort of playstyle. Alternatively, if he had the clone that comes from on top, which Scorpion used to use, you could also use that for a hard knockdown, which would put them at around there as well. And it will do roughly the same damage. And obviously the clone that comes from top, you wouldn't have it amplified. Again, you don't want to give too much. You don't want to make the characters too hard to get in, because then you would create a frustrating experience. This being amplifiable and this being amplifiable is fine. You know, it's good damage. There's no need to go overkill. So the purpose of Noob Saibot would be to keep you out. He doesn't want you to get in. He's a mid to long range zoner. So the point of having this fireball, you know, if you have that fireball as well, it kind of becomes overkill at that point. And it's not a clone attack. You want to really centralize the character. You want to make it so that he is relying on his clones and he has a decent option to get you off him when he gets out. And that is if he lands a hit, he doesn't get high damage for it, but he can push you back to a position on the screen that he wants to play at. And that's how you create a character archetype. It's really not that difficult. There's no need to give characters a billion moves. Now the reason I chose Noob Saibot is because I understand the character better than people on the roster, other characters on the roster. I don't know how to play other characters too well. I can give you suggestions for what I might do to the character, but this is for Noob Saibot just because I feel like I get the character more. And that's what I mean by character archetypes. You really zone in on what the character is good at. There's no need to give them a billion things. A problem that NRS has always had is that they give a character something and you're like, okay, so they're a mix-up character, so I got to get in their face. And then 16-bit continues talking. It's like, also, we gave them this really cool fireball and you can amplify it. And they've got a fireball that hits you overhead as well. It's like, no, that's not how you promote a healthy playing environment, especially in a competitive scene. You don't give a character everything. You make it so that they play at specific ranges, they can dominate at those ranges, but they have weaknesses as well. Now continuing on from what I was saying, this string is not punishable. Also, if they block that string, then you can make it safe like that, and they have to guess if you're going to amplify it or not. And really, that's stupid. We don't want turn stealing. We want commitment. We want players to commit to decisions. So Noob Saibot's clones will be unsafe up close. There's no reason for them to be safe because they grant such good stage control. Up close, all of this will be fully punishable, and that's the point. The point is that Noob Saibot wants to keep you out, and a skilled player will have to work on that and work on where they're going to use the clones, at what time. And he has so many options for clones. There's no reason to give him another fireball. There's no reason to make him safe, to give him safe strings. There's absolutely no reason for that. This is coming from a Noob Saibot player. I don't want characters to be brain dead in this game, and that's the biggest problem with it. This game doesn't understand archetypes, and it doesn't understand how to make a character difficult to play. And when I say difficult to play, I mean difficult to master. I feel like every character should be easy enough to pick up so people enjoy the game, because you don't want people to put the pad down, but they should be difficult to master. I don't know if NRS has ever heard the saying, easy to play, hard to master. That's something that floats around Tekken a lot, because the game is a pick up and play, but it's also incredibly difficult. And that medium doesn't exist in MK, unfortunately. So this was my suggestions for an archetype, and this is what I meant when I was talking about an archetype. Hopefully that's been put across to you in the most clear way possible, and you kind of understood what I meant when I was taking from Scorpion's moveset. And if you have any other character suggestions you want me to do on this, then let me know. I'll look into the characters a bit more just so I know what I'm talking about. But I hope you enjoy the video, guys. If you have any video suggestions for me, anything you want me to cover, let me know. But until then, peace.